back to Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports. I'm Matt Musil. Let's welcome in our good friend Adam Coleman from the Houston Chronicle now. Adam, thanks for spending time with us today, buddy.
Anytime, Matt. Appreciate you guys for having me.
All right, today's show has been dedicated to the heroic and inspirational stories from 2017. Now, earlier this year, you wrote about the challenges faced by the kids out at C.E. King High School. I, too, did a story out at the school, and the damage there was catastrophic. For those who may not have had a chance to read your story or watch mine, what can you tell us about what you found out there at C.E. King?
Yeah, when you talk about some of the schools that were hit hardest by Hurricane Harvey, C.E. King is definitely up there. I mean, just ravaged communities, ravaged school. The thing that stands out to me is the weight room and the football facility. I mean, you're talking about 6 feet of water, dead fish in some lockers. They had to go in there and clean it out themselves. They opted to clean it out themselves instead of hiring somebody else to do it. And they wanted to do it in a week. And all the players and volunteers did that. I mean, rusted weight bars. I talk about just drywall, all destroyed. I mean, this team, the whole season was using a broken down facility, but they got it to a point where they could use it. You're talking about kids who have to live in homes with 13 other people because they've been displaced. There are students on that team that were taking early college credits at San Jac and having to take a bus from San Jac to the elementary school out there. And they had to do that maybe about 2-3 times a day just so they could take college credits and take their high school classes at the elementary school, where a lot of other students were displaced because the high school was destroyed. But I mean, this team came together. They nearly made the playoffs. They just fell short of the playoffs. But you got to really be inspired by those kids not complaining, still bringing it together, and still coming through with a few big wins. Huge season for C.E. King, especially what they've been through.
All right, Adam, now earlier in the show, we took a closer look at the situation out at Kingwood High School. Not only did they finish the season strong, they made an improbable run through the playoffs, playing all the way into the month of December. That has to rank right up there at the top of the Cinderella stories in recent years, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Right now, it's our greatest Cinderella story this year. And you talk about Hurricane Harvey, they were hit very hard, too. And having to share a school with Summer Creek, that story's been well documented. But when you talk about on the football field, this Kingwood team was amazing. They came through with some huge wins, getting to the third round for the first time since 1990. Tough loss against Lincoln Creek, but if you're Barry Campbell, you have to be proud of that team. Matt Slayton leading the way. I think with Kingwood, a lot of people overlook them because, you know, they tend to be a scrappy bunch. They don't throw the ball a lot, but they are tough kids, hardworking kids. And I think one thing that Coach Campbell told me is that this team never complained. They always persevered. They weren't mad about sharing the campus with Summer Creek High School. They weren't mad about having to have equipment donated to them in the beginning of the year just so they could start to practice after the storm left the city. I mean, this team came together and found a way to have their best season in some decades. I think Kingwood might be here to stay. When you got program DNA like them and the kids that work as hard as they do, they'll find a way to get back to that point where they left off this year.
All right, Adam, no shortage of heroic figures there, that's for sure. Now, as you look back on 2017, what other storylines will you remember most?
Yeah, well, one that immediately comes to my mind is the Pearland Dawson kicker, Claire Jeffers. She is to me, one of the more inspirational figures in high school football. It's not just about being a female kicker on a football team for her, but I know she inspires so many other girls throughout the country, and a lot of people have picked up on her story. She was homecoming queen one week, and then the next week hit the game-winning field goal to beat rival Pearland. I mean, girls see that, and that inspires girls. That inspires men. It inspires a lot of people, man. And I've met her, and we did a story on her last year. She's an exceptional young lady, and she's a lot of fun to cover and watch. And then I think about Trent Miller, the spring football head coach. Tragically lost his daughter before the season started. And he had a team rally around him, and he was still strong enough to be there for the guys and be there for the players. And the players became his sons and his family, and he led that team to a playoff berth. They lost in the first round, but they are a good team and a good program. They should be back. But definitely kudos to Trent Miller for going through that tragedy and bouncing back and rallying that team that fought for him as well to the playoffs. Those are two heroic figures to me that stand out immediately.
Adam, thanks again for taking time out during this busy time. We'll see you right back here again next week.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Hey.